Hey, what's going on, Archons? Welcome to another edition of Key Thoughts, my weekly vlog about my musings of the game of KeyForge. Well, it's December, and I did a 4-deck giveaway yesterday. Decided to throw in an extra deck this month. And before I jump into the topic of the week and the card of the week, I wanted to just say that I think I'm going to take a break from making content on YouTube until the new year. I want to focus on some other projects I got in the mix. I want to bring back, or maybe not even bring back, but plan some new things to be making videos for the new year. And just want to enjoy the holidays a little bit. So I decided that this is going to be the second to last video content I'm making for this year. I got one more Patreon deck supporter video, which will drop tomorrow. And I think I'm going to bring back the Crucible and Coffee and Crucible and Cognac series for the new year. Key thoughts and then some other stuff. I want to figure out some more innovative ways to do these deck giveaways. I really like Who Played It better. That may be something we see again. But this has been a great roundup for the year. So I got to thank all of you who have been supporting me, who have been watching these videos, commenting, liking, subscribing, all that good stuff, sharing it. I really appreciate it. It's the validation, I guess, from your support that really drives me, along with my love of creating this type of content. It's been fantastic this year. This has probably been the best year for creating content for me. I absolutely love it. So thank you all so much. I truly do appreciate each and every one of your supports, especially those of you who comment regularly. You know who you are. That being said, I will still be streaming a bunch, usually on my Saturday, maybe some other times too. But yeah, Saturday streams will still be happening. I just won't be putting these pre-recorded contents out. So we'll still have the times to chat and say hi, and I hope to see you all there. Without further ado, let's get into the card of the week. And this week it is Bramo. But wait, not just Bramo, but boom, 3 Bramos. That's right. So I had a deck that you may have seen played on stream on Saturday that I opened up last week, where I played this deck that had these triple Bramos, and then it also had the Ganger Knot combo. But it was more just Drummer Knot, and Bramo was just insane because you're just being able to do so much damage with those Bramos. I really appreciated them. Like, the Drummer Knot Bramo is a lot of fun, and this was a cool AoA deck. I will definitely be playing it again. It wasn't a top tier, but it was definitely like it could hold its own, and if you get the draws right, you can do some wild things with it. And I think that's important, and that's kind of leading into the topic for this week. It's knowing the type of decks you have and the type of decks you want to play. And what I mean by that is you obviously have your upper echelon decks that when you're playing them, you are playing to win on another level. That means that you expect to do some damage, and most decks you go against are going to be competing against it. You're never expecting to get steamrolled. You are expecting most of the time to maybe do the steamrolling. And when you play, there are certain times you will not bring this deck because you know how powerful it is. So that, I think, is like the top echelon decks that I will call them tournament decks. You'll bring them more when you're trying to prove a point, do something wild, that sort of thing. Then I think below that you have your decks that are good, but maybe they lack consistency. Maybe they lack a type of element, board control, ember control, ember generation, but they are fun to play. You enjoy playing them. And I think that they're good, but you wouldn't necessarily always bring them to a tournament because they may fall short of the end goal of winning the tournament. But you know, every time you play this deck, you have a good time. Unless the cards come really weird. Like I have a deck that really falls into this. It's like a 67 triple essence scale, house cheating for days, and I absolutely love it. I think it's my favorite deck to play. Just like if I was going to ever bring a deck out and I know it's not a tournament setting, I'd bring this one out 9 out of 10 times, I think. And I did so on Monday, and it was just an absolute blast. And then I think below that you have decks that, we'll call them the finicky decks. They have an element that is super cool. It makes it really fun to play. It doesn't always go off, and if it doesn't go off, there's no chance you win. Like those type of decks. I have one that is pretty wild that does it, and I just started thinking about the type of decks you have in your collection, and because the way KeyForge is, the way you can have a variety of decks that do all these different things and have different elements. And obviously you have the top, you have the mid, and then you have the stuff that's really cool but doesn't always work. And you may bring it out when you're like, you know what, I'm playing against a friend who doesn't always play, and so this gives them a higher chance of having a good game against me. But if my piece goes off, then they're done. But you know, it doesn't always go off, so it's fun. So I think it's important to recognize these types of decks, and I think it's also important to play these varieties of decks in different situations. I don't think you should always be playing your top of the top, especially when we're in a situation where there is no real high stakes OP, except for maybe KFPL. I mean, ABR League is definitely amazing, so is Coat, but I wouldn't call those like high stakes. I think most players playing are doing it so they have a weekly environment where they can play organized KeyForge, and having fun is, I think, the name of the game. Winning is not as big a priority, and plus it's dragged out longer, so it's not the same thing. It's not like those one-day events like a Vault Tour would provide, like a Grand Championship, like a Prime, and those are the type of tournaments I'm talking about where you're really bringing your top tier. And so I just wanted to spend some time to pose the question: do you think of your decks this way? Do you have decks that you fit into these categories where you're like, I love playing this deck so much, but I know that it's not going to win majority? I don't even know if majority is the right word. It may not always win because there are decks that are better than it, but it has really great things that make it fun. I think having a deck that plays consistently is actually a lot of fun, even if it's missing certain tools. The fact that you can consistently do things with it and get to play it the way that's enjoyable, I think that's really important. So just putting it out there, wanting to know how y'all play your decks, and do you classify your decks in this sort of way? Yeah, because I do, and I have some that I like to play under certain situations. I'm like, wow, this is so much fun to play. Tonight I just want to enjoy it, and I know playing this deck will give me that enjoyment whether I win or lose. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Let me know if you have some decks of this nature, and if you haven't thought about this before, start thinking about it. Have some fun. Do your damn thing, okay? Enjoy the KeyForge game, and thanks again for everyone's support. Patreon video tomorrow. New stuff coming in the new year. I'm going to try and come up with some really wild ideas for the new year, and if anyone has some suggestions of stuff they would maybe like to see coming down the pipe, please hit me up, send me a message. Y'all know my Discord. It's Boulevard Blake #3840, and you can hit me up through YouTube as well. So appreciate each and every one of you, and as always, may your Ember never be stolen and your keys forged properly. Have a good one.